Hello, good afternoon to one and all. My name is Nana OPOKU DANQUE from Ghana, and I'm glad to be here to be part of the Commerce Association inauguration and international webinar. I want to extend my profound gratitude to the principal of Henry Baker College in the person of Dr. Girish Kumar GS. I also want to extend gratitude to Dr. Santo Josi, the IQAC coordinator. Also want to extend my profound gratitude to Dr. Dennis, the organizing secretary, faculty members of Henry Baker College, all student research scholars, and the general participant. I'm glad to be part of this inaugural function, and when I was contacted by Dr. Dennis, I found it privileged to be here, and I have some few things to share with all of you. As you know, this thing is being organized by the Department of Commerce of Henry Baker College. What we want to delve into today, our topic for this particular webinar is business continuity management during the age of COVID. When the word commerce comes to mind, we know we are talking of trading things of economic value, or simply we are exchange of goods and services between two or more parties. And in this time of COVID, we know we are faced with challenges. Economy are tripling down. We have some downsizing and a whole lot of things happening in the global economy. So I want to concentrate much more on 6 key areas that I think organization or business should focus on to preserve their business in terms of continuity, to make them also competitive in this global market and also during this COVID situation that we find ourselves. So I'm going to expound on 6 key areas that I think that organizations should look at critically. A bit of introduction. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to evolve. Now is the time to shift focus to efforts that support a return to work while addressing needed changes in the months ahead. Here is how organizations can begin making that shift, from mobilizing during this time to stabilizing in the new environment and strategizing for what is next. It is important that as we are trying to deal with the current situation, we focus and plan ahead so that after COVID, post-COVID, we'll know how to also preserve our businesses. So the first key area I want to expound on today is crisis management and response. Crisis management and response. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought fast-moving and unexpected variables, some of which existing crisis plans and teams weren't prepared to handle. Many companies successfully develop incident management plans specific to this crisis and are looking ahead. So why crisis management and response? I think that businesses and organizations that already have crisis management and response team can leverage upon this, because it's very, very important for the team to do a research on what we are facing and know the variables involved and know how to actually also capitalize on the resources that the organization have. So if any organization or business does not have this team, I think it is a good way to mobilize your response effort in the immediate wake of crisis. It can help us to transition into what is next. As you stabilize and shift focus on how to bring people back to work, assess your organization response effort to date and identify areas of real-time course corrections. Also, you have to look at what organization insights the crisis process has provided to help strategize to help also capitalize on the opportunity of event-driven transformation. So what am I driving at? I'm driving at that one key area we need to look at in terms of business to preserve continuity is for us to form a crisis management and response team to be able to assess the current situation we are in. Very, very important key to look at. The second key to look at is workforce. 5 workforce areas are emerging as priorities for business leaders. The first area we have to look at under workforce is protecting people, protecting our employees. Is very, very important. Initiate measures to help support employees' physical and emotional well-being, whether at work or at home. This is the time we need to protect our people. We need to protect employees to preserve the business community. The second, communicate effectively in global uncertainty that we find ourselves into. Lead with responsive, empathetic communication and policies that help people feel informed and supported. This is the time not to neglect our employees. This is the time we have to take communication very serious. Always try to communicate with our employees, getting them informed about what is happening so that they will be supported in all areas. The third point under workforce I want to delve into is maintain the continuity of work. You don't want to halt activities. Provide the resources and support employees need to be productive, especially as they adapt to the working environment that we find ourselves into. So, to maintain continuity of work, the businesses have to look on providing resources to their employees who are even at home to help them engage into any activity that the company deem fit. The third, access workforce cost. Explore workforce levers to help balance the potential need to cut costs with the desire to keep people employed. Also very important. Then the last point under workforce I want to highlight is prepare for recovery. Align workforce planning with the business strategy and prepare for an evolving market in order to ramp up in a recovery. You know, COVID won't stay for centuries, you know. It will by all means have its tenor and move away from the scene. So as we're trying to put in measures to stabilize our business now, we have to also prepare for a recovery after COVID-19. Very, very important key to take note of. The third key area that I want to highlight this afternoon is operations and supply chain. The ripple effects of COVID-19 pandemic are difficult to model and access, but global businesses can begin to mitigate supply chain distributions. So what do I mean by what can we do? First and foremost, we need to identify alternative supply chain scenarios, especially as new cases of the virus emerge in different territories. So in our supply chain, we have to try and identify alternative supply chain scenarios to help us to capitalize on areas that we think we can do best at. Activate pre-approved parts or raw material substitution, and also adapt allocation to customer and pricing strategies. So these are key areas under operations and supply chain that I think we need to focus our attention on to help us to be stabilized or to continue our business activities during this COVID. The fourth key area I want to highlight this afternoon is finance and liquidity. Finance and liquidity. As business activities slow, some companies are seeing lower revenue, resulting in less cash flow. During the economic uncertainty, managing cash and liquidity positions may be crucial in the weeks ahead. So what can we do? I think that this are the time, one, we need to model our worst case scenarios. In all scenarios that we need to adapt, when we are designing any model, I think it's best for us to look at the worst case scenarios, because we don't know when this COVID will be leaving us. And now I think we are introduced with a new phrase called new normal. It's something that we need to adapt, the new normal life that we are being introduced during this COVID. So worst case scenario, to assess the impact on cash position and revise often. Second, identify the financial and operational levers that can be pulled to conserve and generate cash and potentially increase access to funding. The third, understand and plan for financial reporting, considerations that will result from COVID-19. So we have to understand and plan for all the financial reporting during this COVID-19. And lastly, assess prospects for relief from the tax provisions or other local measures. You know, there are many tax provisions and local measures that the government has been putting in place. We have to take advantage of these. It varies from countries to countries, so I wouldn't want to name some, but I think that during this COVID, government are putting in some good measures to help us, to help businesses survive. So I think businesses have to take opportunity of these measures and tax provisions that has been given us. The fifth area that I think we also have to look at is tax, trade, and regulatory. Navigating complexity and risks in today's global uncertainty takes more than an understanding of tax regulatory system. It is critical that tax functions consider the broader economic, political, and societal context we operate in order to make informed and complained decisions that drive our operations forward. So what can we do? I think one, we can effectively manage cash taxes, obtain available refunds, and consider local government and tax authorities measures in response to COVID-19. I think I've already explained that. Two, consider actions to stabilize supply chain while bracing for an unpredictable revenue and profitability mix in key market areas. Third, assess the resources your company needs to meet your ongoing indirect and direct tax compliance requirements. The last one, explore opportunities focused on becoming more flexible in responding to arising uncertainties. This is the time for us to explore many diverse opportunities that are coming our way. For a business to thrive, I think that we have to identify opportunities even during this time of COVID to help us compete very well in this global market. The last key area I want to expound on today is strategy and brand. Strategy and brand. Strategy is very important in every management procedures. We need to adopt the right strategy and know how to use our resources to our advantage. And our brand in this time of COVID, brand is also very important. So as companies move from reacting to mitigating the impact of the outbreak, strategies to emerge stronger may come in this focus. One, consider accelerating digital transformations. As the shift to remote working reveals gaps in IT infrastructure, workforce planning, and digital upskilling. So digital upskilling. We need to accelerate our digital transformation. We know in this age, we are looking at digitization. We are looking at, in this phenomenon, we have liberalization, globalization. We need to take advantage, and also privatization. We need to take advantage of this current IT state that is going on to develop and know how to meet our business targets is very, very important. The second, protect growth and profitability through actions such as scenario planning, more frequent financial modeling exercises to improve resiliency, and new models that can incorporate economic impact of past pandemics. The last point I want to delve into in terms of strategy and brand is take the pulse of your customers. Take the pulse of your customers. Very important. Thinking through longer term considerations around shifts in core markets or business models as a result of the pandemic. Think about your customers, because in this age of business, customers are everything. As we always say, customers are always right. Think about your customers, innovate ideas surrounding their need and also their want, and generate a product to meet these needs and wants. And I think by doing that and taking all these 6 key areas into considerations, our businesses are going to thrive even in this time of COVID. So, to end this presentation, I believe that in this new normal that we find ourselves into, businesses have to still continue. When this COVID started, there was lockdowns, but eventually businesses are coming to normal, and I think it's very, very important. We cannot remain adamant, we cannot remain aloof. As humans, we need to think, we need to strategize to overcome challenges that comes our way. So economy cannot collapse. We cannot be downsizing all throughout. We need to plan, we need to strategize to stabilize our business. And by stabilizing our businesses, I think that both economies and the global market or global economy as a whole will be forthcoming, and businesses will be going very well for all of us. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all the organizers for this seminar or webinar. I think it is at the right time, and this is very insightful for all of us as students. We need this, It's good for us to be abreast with current situations governing us. It can even appear in our exams, so we need to note things down and be abreast with time. Those graduating students, it could happen that during your interview sessions you can be asked one of these things. So it is very important that I believe you took note of some of these things that I share, and I think business and entrepreneurs too. It is good for us to take note of these things that I share. And lastly, research scholars and professors. I think we can expound on what I've shared to write into detail or to share into detail these few thoughts that I have, so that I think in general businesses will go on well, and our activities during this time of COVID will be fruitful. So thank you very much, Dr. Dennis, for the invitation, and thank you also for this organization. Lastly, I also want to thank the principal of this great institution, and thank all the organizers for inviting me. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.